So the EU shoving 11.5 billion euros, that's over 230 billion rand, folks, or $13.3 billion in greenbacks, straight at South Africa. Clean energy, check. Crumbling infrastructure, double check. Patching up Eskom's blackout circus, and our pothole-riddled roads. You betcha. Reuters nailed it. This cash targets greening our grid and fixing the basics. Sounds like a lifeline for a country choking on load shedding and economic quicksand, right? Nobody drops that kind of dough without a leash attached. Our economy is bleeding with 33.2% unemployment. That's 8.2 million jobless souls as of 2025, with youth unemployment at a brutal 46.1%. Locals scrape by on a 350 Rand grant that don't even cover a week's data, and Brussels wants to play white knights. Smash that like button if this reeks of a sellout. Share if you're side eyeing the fine print, and please drop a comment. Is this aid just Europe's way of locking in our critical minerals for their green dreams? So Eskom's been a blackout nightmare. Though we dodged load shedding for most of 2025, winter 2025 was better than expected. Outages stayed under 3.5 gigawatts, but we still hit stage 2 cuts in May when the breakdowns spiked. Our roads, still craters, swallowing tires and dreams. This EU package pumps 8.7 billion euros into public-private deals for green hydrogen, e-batteries, grid updates, transport mods, and vaccine production. Projects like Kuega's green ammonia could boost agriculture, chemicals, and mining. On paper, it's job-creating gold. But hold up, SARB's Lesecha Kanyago is pushing a lower inflation rate, aiming for a 3% midpoint down from 4.5% to steady the rand and cut borrowing costs by 80 to 160 basis points. Inflation's at 3.2% for 2025 forecasts, thanks to cheaper oil and stronger rand. Suddenly, the EU's all generous. Nah, this ain't charity, this is a foothold. They fix our grid on their terms, eyeing our platinum, lithium, and rare earths for Europe's net zero push. Ramaphosa calls it a game changer for inclusive growth. But with 43.1% expanded unemployment, counting the discouraged job seekers, why is the government dodging the real crisis? Our tax rate, squeezed through VAT hikes that could rise 0.5% yearly to rake in 43 billion rand more. Shouldn't fund their feel-good photo ops. Let's do a quick stat break, the ugly numbers. So we've got the unemployment spike. The official rate at 33.2% in 2025, up from 32.9%. That's 237,000 more jobless since 2004. Then we have the youth crisis, 46.1% for 15 to 24s, with 4.8 million out of work. Moving over to load shedding, it was suspended for 323 days in 2025, saving over 17 billion on diesel, but Eskom's EAF lingers at 61.44%. Then the dreaded inflation. SARB wants a 3% target to lock in gains, but the Treasury is pushing back on timing. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for killing load shedding. My fridge has been on life support for way too long. We've gone 323 days without blackouts this financial year. But trading sovereignty for euros? Hell no. Politicians are blowing cash on scandals like the $500 million perks bonanza, health tender kickbacks, and the IDT CEO bribes in 2025. Not to mention the Gupta Zuma saga, where state funds just vanished into lavish homesteads. Now get this, the government spending hit 2.4 trillion rand in 2024-2025, 35 billion over budget, while 18.8 million of South Africans rely on social grants. Now VAT hikes to plug the holes. That's us hustling for scraps while the elites feast on a all-you-can-eat buffet of our souls. We've skyrocketed solar capacity to 9.46 gigawatts by mid-2025, adding 928 megawatts in Q1 alone. Think rooftop hustles and big projects like the 540 megawatt Kent hybrid and the 846 megawatt Kroonstad cluster. We've got 6 new Free State solar farms totaling 1,219 megawatts. They got the go ahead in July, all local led under REPPPPPP. Community fixes, we're projecting 2.31 gigawatts for 2025, blending public bids with private rooftop rooms. 6.1 gigawatt from innovators like Red Rocket and Scatec, powering homes without begging Brussels. With 10 gigawatts in the pipeline, we're owning our sun, not leasing it. Let me not be too pessimistic. Take the cash if it's clean. No hidden clauses on mineral exports or policy vetoes. No Brussels bosses dictating our rules. It's SA first, or we're just Europe's side gig in their green grab. So, is the EU bailing us out or buying influence? While we battle 33.3% joblessness and scandal-plagued budgets, am I paranoid or spot on? Hit the comments, spill your tea on these partnerships. What one local fix would you prioritize over foreign cash? That's my rant for today. Subscribe for no bullshit rants on the deals screwing or saving Mzansi. Share if foreign help boils your blood. And let's wake the timeline. Remember to put the bell on so you never miss an Angry Bird Bloody episode. And that is me for this week. Angry Bird Bloody out.